Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Fasting is one of the obligatories in Islam because fasting is necessary for the human being in many dimensions of his life. Fasting is necessary for health. Thousands of doctors have confirmed the medical and health benefits of fasting. Not only fasting is necessary for health, but also it is necessary for the spirit. Means not only the health of the body, but also the health of the mind. Fasting makes the person more healthy in his way of thinking, in his spirit, in his soul. Fasting is not only in Islam, but it was in all the previous religions. As we read in Quran, "O those who believe, fasting has been ordained on you as it was being ordained on people before you, so that you get more piousness. لعلكم تتقون." This is the main reason and main philosophy and main wisdom behind fasting. Fasting, in fact, helps the human being in many ways. Number one, it makes him remember the sufferings of the poor people who are hungry because of poverty. So a person who is fasting is more sympathetic to the poor people than a person who is not fasting. Number two, the health benefits of fasting. As the hadith says, صوموا تصحوا. Fast, you will be healthier. Also, fasting teaches us tolerance and patience. We tolerate the suffering of hunger and thirst and tiredness for the sake of Allah. Also, fasting helps us to strengthen our willpower. Willpower is very important in everybody's life. And fasting is a practical procedure, practical training, which makes us more strong in our willpower. We look at the food in front of us available, but we don't eat because of Allah. We, during fasting, are obeying Allah by not eating and not drinking and not committing any of things which are not to be practiced during fasting for the sake of Allah. So fasting helps a lot in making our willpower stronger. Also, one of the important benefits from fasting is that it makes us more humble. The fasting person is more humble than a person with full stomach. And humbleness is very important to make us good human beings. It makes us feel that we are weak and we are not entitled to be arrogant. We have to be always humble, and this is one of the benefits of fasting. Another benefit from fasting, it makes us control over our desires. As desires, when it go out of the limit, become in fact one of the worst enemies in every human being life. There are two most dangerous enemies. Number one is shaitan. Number two is evil desires. Fasting helps us to control over our evil desires, and fasting makes us more able to follow our intellect, not our desires. And that itself is a great benefit for us when we are free from our evil desires. Fasting makes us more sincere to Allah, because fasting is a worship which is between us and Allah. The fasting person does not eat even if he is alone, even if he is in a locked room alone. He will not eat anything. Why? Because he believes in Allah, and Allah is seeing him. Fasting makes the believer more sincere in his relationship with Allah. He believes that Allah is with him always. He will never eat or drink even if he is alone, with no one is seeing him, because he knows that Allah is seeing him always and all the time and everywhere. Fasting makes the believer more sincere, and fasting is a long period of worship. Every worship takes, even Salah, which is the most important obligatory in Islam, the pillar of Islam, but it does not take more than, say, 20 minutes, less, more, half an hour. But fasting takes the whole day, from the Fajr time, dawn, till the Maghrib time. This long period of continuous worship of Allah makes the person more sincere to Allah and more humble, and makes him a better human being. In fact, all these benefits are under one title: piousness. The pious person is a person who has strong willpower, a pious person who remembers the sufferings of the poor, the pious person who helps the poor in every possible way, the pious person who controls over his desires and follow what Allah wants him to do. All these benefits under the title of taqwa. That's why in Quran Allah has clearly said that the reason behind fasting to be obligatory is to increase taqwa. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Fasting was obligatory on all the followers of all the previous prophets, because fasting is a livelihood necessity, a practice which is compulsory for every human being. Even we see people who don't follow the prophets, but they have got their own practices, yet they fast, because it is something agreed upon all human beings that fasting has got great benefits for the health and for the morals. So in all the stages of the history, fasting was one of the practices of different communities. Taqwa, piousness, is the main reason and wisdom and philosophy behind fasting.